Dated October 29th, 1980. Mr. Michael Jordan, 4647 Gordon Road, Wilmington, North Carolina, 28405. Dear Mike, I'm sorry to hear that you are no longer interested in learning more about Duke University. However, I do want you to know that my staff and I wish you the very best in your collegiate career. You are a fine young man and you would make an immediate impact on whatever you choose. Take care and best of luck. Sincerely, Mike Krzyzewski. That was a letter written to Michael Jordan, a recruiting letter. Um, Basically, a follow up from Coach K to the great Michael Jordan after Michael Jordan chose the Chapel Hill in the North Carolina Tar Heels over the Duke Blue Devil program. Um, as of late, I'm gonna do a lot of referencing with this basketball book right here. As of late, Michael Jordan has become a very, very hot topic online, on the news, and in social media. The Last Dance, I got a chance to watch it several times. I actually watched all 10 episodes. I watched all 10 episodes of The Last Dance. Um, Very, very well put together. The hip hop fusion with basketball, it always creates a masterpiece. A lot of the things about Michael Jordan I already knew because I grew up during this period of time. A lot of the things that I seen on The Last Dance I didn't know. Um, One of the things that I'm very, 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 very well read on is the differences between Michael Jordan and Isaiah Thomas. It's a hot topic online right now. I'm going to share my thoughts on the whole situation based on my knowledge. Um, I believe that the whole issue between Michael Jordan and Isaiah Thomas started during an All-Star game in the early 80s. Um, Isaiah Thomas and Michael Jordan both played in the Eastern Conference, so that would make them teammates on the All-Star team. This particular All-Star game, Isaiah was accused of trying to freeze Michael Jordan out of the offense. Um, I don't know whether this incident at All-Star Weekend was attributed to the fact that they were conference rivals. I don't know. I do know that there's always been some type of negative connotation placed upon Isaiah Thomas whenever Michael Jordan is mentioned. Um, I think something that a lot of people misconstrue is that Isaiah Thomas is one of the 50 greatest players of all time and probably the top three point guards of all time. Isaiah Thomas' legacy is as dynamic as Michael Jordan's. Isaiah won a national championship at the University of Indiana. Michael Jordan won a national championship at the University of North Carolina. The Detroit Pistons, Isaiah Thomas won titles back to back in the NBA. They came near three-peating. There's some controversy involving a personal foul that was called and sent Kareem Abdul-Jabbar to the line, and that probably disrupted the Bad Boys' chances of three-peating. But in a nutshell, Isaiah Thomas is as relevant, is as talented, is as necessary as Michael Jordan. The fact that he was left off the dream team creates a narrative where people will believe that he's insignificant. This couldn't be further from the truth. People who know basketball know that. The dream team took 2 point guards. They took Magic Johnson, they took John Stockton. Magic Johnson is unequivocally the greatest point guard that ever lived. This is unquestioned, unmatched. Behind him, they always wanted to create a narrative to make John Stockton be like an equal. This is mainly because of all of the assists that he accumulated throughout his career. He basically rolled Karl Malone into the record books. If John Stockton played on another team elsewhere, he probably would have never made a big hit. If he didn't have a Karl Malone, there probably wouldn't be a John Stockton story. Let's just keep it real. Um, Isaiah Thomas is way more talented than John Stockton. Um, as a matter of fact, there's several point guards that receive unfavorable coverage because of John Stockton. When I say unfavorable coverage, I'm speaking of someone like Kevin Johnson from the Phoenix Suns, who averaged 17 and 10 on a career, 17 and 9 or 17 and 10 on a career. Kevin Johnson's statistically better than John Stockton in many categories, but you don't hear KJ's name mentioned. Getting back to Isaiah. Isaiah's from Chicago. I got a chance to watch his movie growing up. It was called The Mary Thomas Story. It was named after his mother, Mary Thomas. Isaiah Thomas is from the gutter in Chicago. His brothers, I don't want to say they were members of the Vice Lords organization, but he came up amongst the Vice Lords. That wasn't like foreign ground for Isaiah Thomas. Isaiah Thomas got his eye. He was a little big man. He got his eye split open several times in the league by much bigger players. Isaiah Thomas was a little guy playing a big man's game. I don't even think he's 6 foot. I think Isaiah Thomas is probably more closer to 5'11". It's no secret that Michael Jordan feels some type of way about Isaiah Thomas. I don't know whether it's due to the beatings that the Pistons put on the Chicago Bulls, or the fact that in a playoff game, the Detroit Pistons and Isaiah Thomas walked off the court without shaking hands with the Bulls, which can be perceived and received as being disrespectful and unsportsmanlike. Because of this, I believe the relationship between Michael Jordan and Isaiah was damaged forever. I seen a documentary about the Dream Team maybe a couple of years ago, and there's a portion in there where Michael Jordan says something like, "Oh, the press is trying to interview, all of the members of the Dream Team," and Michael Jordan, as he's sitting down to get mic'd up, he said, "No Isaiah Thomas questions, no Isaiah Thomas questions." So the narrative of Jordan and Isaiah having differences has been out there forever. I think for Michael Jordan to stand on it after all this time, I think that's kind of childish. I mean, you've already been crowned as the greatest basketball player of all time. Nobody too much disputes it. With that being said, you got all of these titles. You got an iconic sneaker. You branded basketball unlike anyone. Nobody poses any threat to your legacy. I don't know what Michael Jordan has against Isaiah Thomas personally. He's half your size. He's half Michael Jordan's size. I really, really don't know what buttons Isaiah pushed for Michael Jordan to feel the way that he feels. But, of course, it came back up during this documentary, The Last Dance. I got a chance to watch all 10 episodes. The Last Dance is going to create shockwaves through society. We're going to hear about this for a while. The Michael Jordan, again, I don't want to ruin anything or jump the gun. Michael Jordan, the portion of Say The Last Dance when they start to talk about Michael Jordan's gambling and his decision to leave the NBA and go play baseball for 2 years. I believe that was tied to gambling, and also tied to something him and David Stern might have had going on. This is my opinion and my personal thoughts on the topic. Overall, great production. The footage, being able to see Michael Jordan go from a shy young kid with broken English, if you listen to him speak. He's a country boy out the woods, real country and shy, to who he is now, watching him progress through all of that. It was just a sight to see. Oh, another thing that I think people overlook about Michael Jordan. They said during the documentary, there came a time in Michael Jordan's career where he knew that he had to lift weights. There's pictures of Michael Jordan with his wingspan, showing his wingspan. And there's also pictures of Michael Jordan like walking. Michael Jordan had one of the most muscular physiques of any of the shooting guards. If you go look at Michael Jordan's physique and go look at other shooting guards at the time, Michael Jordan had a nice athletic frame on him. I happen to know that you can dominate sports by out training your opponent in the gym. Michael Jordan was a bloodthirsty competitor. If you were paying attention to the footage during the course of, say, The Last Dance, you seen the team running wind sprints. Michael Jordan was in a lead during the wind sprints, all of them. He led by example. So, yeah, if I'm putting my best foot forward, I would expect the best from my teammates. I just wanted to brush up on, I don't want to get lost in the coverage of Save the Last Dance because it's such a big thing. Me personally, I was never the biggest Michael Jordan fan, so a lot of the things that we are seeing is somewhat amusing to me. I grew up on the opposite side of Michael Jordan. When I say the opposite side, I grew up with my father in my house, so everybody black back in the day was Philadelphia 76ers fans. Before Michael Jordan, there was Dr. J. So, you know, I grew up watching Dr. J in the house with my father. My father was a big Sixers fan. And during the course of watching Dr. J play, I noticed this guy that Dr. J was playing against. I noticed the other team that the Sixers were playing against. I said, I like this team. I like the way they play basketball. And they had a star point guard. His name was Magic Johnson, Irvin Magic Johnson. So I was turned out on Showtime basketball from the door, and because of that, competitively, I was always on the Lakers side. Any new revelations on Isaiah Thomas or Michael Jordan is great news to me, but like I said, I grew up and I kind of lived through it. In a nutshell, great piece of work. Look forward to more coverage on basketball documentaries as well as movies. We're going to talk about great basketball movies right here on The Dribble. And I want y'all to stay tuned with what I'm doing and subscribe to my channel right here, The Real Gully TV, where we discuss sports right here. The sports page by Gully TV. Hit the bell so you get the notifications, and follow the sports page on Instagram, Gully TV Sports. I appreciate everybody for coming through. Y'all go here and see a lot more of this book. I'm going to basically teach a whole course with this book about this great game of basketball that we love so much. Look at that. Look at Muggsy Bogues. Yeah. Stay tuned. And we'll see what there's more to come. Chris Duhon. Later for the Blue Devils. I'm up out of here. Peace.